Times are tough, and saving a percentage of your paycheck every month is becoming increasingly unsustainable. What if I told you there's a way to save money every month without impacting your quality of life or spending power? Throughout my decade-long career as a qualified accountant, I've discovered 7 normalized everyday money scams that you're likely falling for, that are killing your budget, and in this video I'm going to share them all as well as how to avoid them going forward. So number 1 is dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is an absurd scheme which so few people are aware of, but probably is happening to you on a daily basis. So dynamic pricing is the practice sellers put in place of auto-adjusting prices for products or services based on various factors. These factors can include your location, browsing history, time of day, demand, and even the device you're using to shop. One of the most common forms of dynamic pricing is location-based. Online retailers may adjust prices depending on your location at the time of purchase. For example, if you're in an affluent area, you might see higher prices than someone who's in a poor area for exactly the same product to ensure the seller is draining you for every possible penny based on your analytics. Of course, the key facilitator of this practice in recent times is cookies and their ability to track your interests and other various data points to inform the pricing structure. So 4 key tips to give yourself the best chance of avoiding dynamic pricing, which bear in mind for larger purchases such as flights and hotels could save you hundreds, are to clear your cookies or browse in incognito mode to avoid personalized pricing when you're making purchases, compare prices from different devices and locations, use price tracking tools and apps to monitor changes, and shop during off-peak hours, especially when you're making large purchases such as flights and hotels. Number 2 is utility bill add-ons. Utility bill add-ons are effectively services or fees utility companies may offer or sneak into your bill alongside your essential services like electricity, gas, and water. These add-ons often come with a price and they can add up over time. Here are some common utility bill add-ons that you might find on your bills. Equipment insurance or protection plans, surge protection, wire maintenance, water line protection, or extended warranties on appliances. These add-ons can sometimes be tucked away in the fine print of your bills or presented in a way that makes them seem essential or beneficial when they actually aren't. So it's really important to give your recurring utility bills a once through to ensure they haven't snuck these pesky added fees on, and to make sure you opt out if you do find any. Next is subscriptions. The average American has a whopping 12 paid subscriptions, from streaming services to magazines, meal kits, fitness apps. Subscriptions are all around us and constantly advertised, and they can seriously drain your bank account if you're not on top of them. With 12 subscriptions per person, it's easy to see how those monthly fees add up. But here's the kicker. Nearly 84% of Americans admit to having at least one subscription they rarely or never use. In fact, according to recent studies, these unused subscriptions can collectively cost an individual over $1,000 per year of wasted money. This is another extremely low-hanging fruit that if you just act upon, you can add to your savings without affecting your quality of life at all. So what can you do to avoid falling for this money trap? Here are 4 tips. First, take inventory and start by listing all of your subscriptions. Review each one and ask yourself if you genuinely use it or it's just collecting digital dust. Next is obviously cancel any unnecessary subscriptions and look to share and bundle with any family or friends if possible. Set a subscription budget and allocate a specific amount of money for subscriptions each month and stick to it. Once you've hit your limit, avoid adding any more subscriptions until you can cancel another one. And obviously be mindful of free trials. Watch out for those enticing free trial offers that often turn into paid subscriptions really fast. If you forget to cancel, this is how they make their money. Set reminders to avoid accidental charges here. Next is leaving money on the table. This is a big one. We all need to save money, and where to put your hard saved money to provide further returns is a constant topic of debate. There is one option a larger percentage of us have that quite literally blows all other options out of the water for both potential return and risk, and that is your pension contributions. Without getting into the nitty gritty, whether it's your 401k in the US or pension schemes in the UK, if you work for a company, there will be a scheme in place that provides some form of guaranteed match by your employer up to a certain percentage of your annual salary. The amount eligible for this match per year varies, but one thing is certain: if you're not taking advantage of this full match and instead choosing to invest the same money elsewhere, you are leaving money on the table. Barring a miracle investment into an emerging crypto, there is just no way you can beat an immediate 100% return on your initial investment, plus the further potential gains it then accrues from the specific investment structure your pension plan has. Theoretically, companies should auto enroll you to maximize your contributions by default, but it saves money for them to not do so, so please make sure you're looking into this for yourself. Next is sales tactics. We've all been there, enticed by flashy signs and persuasive salespeople to buy a product or service that you absolutely don't need. 53% of consumers admit to making a purchase because of a sale or special offer, but often these deals aren't as sweet as they seem. Now, these are hard to protect yourself from due to the often subconscious or psychological tactics that are employed. So here's a framework to set out before going shopping. First is to do your homework. Research prices and products before you hit the stores. That way you'll know if the sale is genuine or just a marketing gimmick. Set a budget. Before you shop, establish a budget and know your limits. It may also be helpful to create a shopping list. Then pause before making any big purchase. If you're tempted by a sale, give yourself a cooling off period if possible of around 24 hours before making a final decision. You might find that the item wasn't as essential as it seemed. And of course, avoid emotional shopping. Don't shop when you're stressed or bored. These states make you extremely vulnerable to the psychological tactics that salespeople employ. In a similar light, misleading food discounts is a big one. This is one that affects us all, and misleading food discounts are promotional tactics used by retailers to make you think you're getting a great deal, when in reality the savings are minuscule or might even be worse off than if you bought the smaller item. These are easy to avoid once you know the tactics, so let's cover the most common ones really quickly now. One common trick is to display an inflated original price next to the current sales price. Retailers make the discount seem more significant this way, but the original price might be a rare occurrence or a price nobody would actually pay. Another tactic involves packaging products in various sizes and offering a discount on the larger packages, but it's often the case that the unit price of the smaller package is actually a better deal if you just buy multiple. Some stores also offer a temporary discount if you buy a membership or loyalty card. While you may save on that particular visit, the long-term costs can often outweigh the benefits, so if you're not going to that store frequently, you need to make sure that you can justify this. So a few tips to prevent these tricks are just to always check the unit price to compare the different packaging sizes. Ignore slashed original prices unless you're very familiar with the original price, and consider the true value of buy one get one free deals. So the last one here is warranties and insurance. This is a slightly controversial one. I've seen numerous cases of absolutely horrendous insurance plans, so let's cover this one as painlessly as possible. Insurance effectively comes down to risk management, so expensive insurance like healthcare and cars, which also may be required depending on where you live, is obviously something that has to be done in most cases. The premise of insurance itself, from a statistical perspective, teeters very close on being a scam. These companies are not your friends, and making claims is frequently made about as hard as humanly possible, so having additional insurance plans for less substantial things like individual items and technology should be avoided at all costs. My high-level advice is to be smart and manage your risk based on your own circumstances. Consider self-insuring by setting aside the cash you would otherwise spend on insurance monthly for smaller areas of your life, which eventually will cover you if the item needs to actually be replaced. At the same time, instead of being tied into an ever-changing insurance plan, you'll actually be able to gain interest on this money that you set aside for your self-insurance. So these are the 7 everyday money scams that you're very likely falling for. Sort these out and you can probably tell the potential savings you'll make across a year could quite easily replace your monthly payments into a savings account, which forces you to live paycheck to paycheck. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like and I will see you all in the next one.